It's Ash from Super Videos back for another video for The Last of Us on HBO. On this video, we're going to be taking a look at something that I've definitely noticed when watching the first few episodes, and I'm sure many video game fans have also noticed it, which is that we are seeing a lot less of the monsters in the TV show when compared to the video game. And by monsters, I'm referring to the infected, the stalkers, the clickers, and the bloaters. Because in the game, we saw a lot more of them than the TV adaptation. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that, let's get right into it. So obviously, we did see our fair share of infected in the first episode, which makes sense because that was the prologue. That's when everything first started. So it makes sense that we would see a lot more of the infected at the beginning. And obviously, even after the 20-year time jump, we did see the different type of infected. We saw a bunch of them in episode 2 where they attacked and ran into the Capitol building where Tess, Joel, and Ellie were at. And obviously, we saw a bunch of stalkers as well. And just one thing I want to say in brackets here is you can definitely tell the age of the infected, looking at the infected from the first episode and the infected and stalkers from the later episodes, which is after the 20-year time jump. But we did see some infected in that particular episode where we saw the clicker, and we saw maybe 2 clickers in there in that particular episode. And obviously we saw a lot more of infected and clickers in the latest episode that aired, season 1 episode 5, which was called Endure and Survive. And obviously this was even more infected than we saw in the first episode. We saw like hundreds and hundreds of them. I think even more than what we saw in the second episode with the infected that ran into the building where Tess was at. And obviously we did see our first look at the bloater in that episode. I don't know if we're going to see more bloaters or not, but obviously in the game we saw more bloaters. So it's not like we only saw one. Now, obviously, realistically looking at it, it makes sense that we don't see as much bloaters, even clickers. So that definitely makes sense. I mean, yes, we did see a lot more bloaters and clickers in the game during storylines in the TV show that have come and gone. But with that said, like I said, it sort of makes sense that we didn't see quite as many bloaters and clickers yet. But in my opinion, we should have seen a lot more infected. I mean, even clickers, I would say. We should have seen a bit more of them, but let's just focus on the infected. We should have seen a lot more of them. I mean, obviously in the last episode, they explained why there weren't that many infected in Kansas City because they were all underground, but that's beside the point. I mean, Joel and Ellie came from Boston all the way to Kansas City. We should have seen a lot more infected during their travels. The only time when we saw a lot of them, or a good chunk of them, was when they were still near Boston. But as they traveled further and further away from Boston, we didn't see quite as many. Obviously, there would not be as many if it's not closer to the cities, because there wouldn't be a lot of people out there. But obviously, they would travel through small cities or towns, which would have some infected in them. So the fact that we've only seen infected in select episodes where there's storylines where they need to bring in the infected tells me that they're definitely toning down on the number of infected and just monsters in general in the TV adaptation. And like I said, it sort of worked in the last episode. They explained it well, saying that they were underground, but we should have seen more of them during Joel and Ellie's travels, which we didn't. And this is definitely something that's becoming obvious, and it's definitely noticeable, specifically to video game fans. Now, I do understand that they can't have as many, because in the game there were a lot of them. Every corner had like a clicker or an infected or something like that, but they should still have more. that we haven't really seen. I hope in the next few episodes we will see more and more of the infected at least, and at least more clickers and maybe more bloaters as well, and not just see them, but see the survivors have to deal with them, have to attack them, have to kill them, because we haven't really seen as many of that. The only time when they had to kill clickers was in episode 2, but other than that, there has never been a time when Joel or Tess tried to kill any of the infected or clickers. Like, I think it just takes away from a lot of the great action scenes that we could have gotten in the TV adaptation, which we didn't get. But with that said, I'm definitely interested to know your thoughts and opinions about this. Do you think we are seeing less of the monsters? And do you think it makes sense or not? And do you like it? Do you wish to have seen more in the TV adaptation? So share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.